Have you ever wanted to pick the brain of a wrestling booker? Look, as fans, I know all the time we're making fantasy stories. We do it on this podcast all the time. We talk about how we think a show could be run better or what we'd like to see from certain wrestlers. But very often do fans actually get to talk to promoters and bookers and, all the people behind the scenes that make a wrestling show work. Well, that's what we're going to do today. I hope you'll stick around and stay till the very end of the video. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to How's This Fake? It's me, TJ, joined by Miggy and new friend of the podcast, Mr. James of the VWC. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
They're doing fantastic.
Excellent. I'm glad to have you on. I was lucky enough to come to the last couple of Ignite shows and be involved in them. And dude, it's I grew up on the border of Corona and Elsinore. So the fact that VWC is in Wildomar is like, where was this when I was, 6 years old? So
Right?
yeah.
Right?
So it's awesome to see something like that in my backyard, and yeah, everyone check out VWC. But I'll let James talk about it. Tell us all about it.
About VWC? We are your local independent wrestling promotion down in Wildomar. So we've been over here probably about 2.5 years now. So running shows and stuff. But now we have our own home in Wildomar where we have our own school. So our school in partnership with Primal Pro Wrestling. Exciting things coming that way. There's some things that are really big, but I unfortunately can't announce those yet.
Teaser.
When I say big, I'm talking big on like a huge level when it comes to your when it comes to wrestling schools.
Cool.
It's going to make Southern California the place everywhere. At least they're going to want to come here, even if briefly. Feather in their cap for anybody who's a professional wrestler. So that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give anything away too much.
All right.
It will be pretty big. And no one else will be able to say they have it. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
Interesting.
So kind of put us in a unique spot as far as that goes. So now someone in Southern California has options for wrestling schools. Primal Pro Wrestling runs out of San Diego, and then we're in Riverside County. So we've got stuff going on here, and I'm proud to say we're doing really well as far as the training goes. We've got great trainers. Our coaches are amazing, and when we have guests come in, active performers or coaches for other promotions and other schools that happen to be passing through, even they're saying that, wow, they're really impressed with where our students are at and their grasp of what they're doing. So one of the things that we're priding ourselves on is we're not just a, pay to play. We're not letting them go on. In fact, it's in our contract with them. They are not allowed to go to another promotion or anywhere to try to get booked on a show and use our name, at least, unless we've given them the okay that they are ready for the in-ring action. So we're being very strict on that. We want to make sure we've got quality wrestlers going out, which is important to us. And outside of school, running our shows, we want our shows to be quality shows. So family-friendly events that are professionally run on both what the audience sees, what the public sees, but also behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, that's the last Ignite was the TV was on behind the commentary table, the handheld cameras. I mean, it's a production, and it's I enjoyed the production value of it as opposed to other independent shows where it's it is what it is, and it's fun, and it's always a great atmosphere. But when you can be in a situation where it's like that small and that intimate, and then you have all that production on top of it, I think it just takes it like to the next level. So That's
And
Miggy, you got to come down.
well, that's what I was gonna say too. It was really cool for me. I'm glad that, because when I was talking to TJ about it, and he's like, yeah, they stream their shows, and as somebody who doesn't live in California, but I feel like, thanks to How Is This Fake, I have become very in tune with the California independent wrestling scene. So it was very cool to be able to send at the last show to watch it, and one, see how amazing the production value was, to see how amazing the performances were and the stories that were being told, but also to be able to experience in a live capacity some of these amazing stars that were on the card alone, that I've talked to. I follow them on social media, but I've never been able to physically watch them wrestle at a live, outside of watching YouTube clips or watching replays of the stuff that they've done. So it was very cool to be able to see these guys in real time, from not being in the area.
I'm glad to hear that's translating, because that's the goal. What we're trying to put out is more of a studio filming. Like, so when people are coming, it feels like a TV taping in a way. So
Yep.
they know they're part of something bigger than just what we're doing in the building. And I think we have some amazing fans. I would say they are really, our fans are the true stars of the show when it comes to that. It's their reactions, it's what they're giving to the performers that allow our performers to give to them. And so it really does translate.
Sure.
Our fans are just absolutely amazing. And our wrestlers now, they don't just feel like they're performing on a wrestling show. They can feel like they are stars. And that's what we want them to feel like, because that's how we want the audience to see them, is that they are stars. That's what makes the event. People coming in, oh my God, I can't wait to see the BWC stars, not just, oh, I get to see some wrestlers. It's
Right.
we're trying to present it as like, these guys are larger than life, and we want people to feel that. I mean, they're coming here to escape, so let's give them something to escape to.
You brought up the fans, and I gotta ask my first pick your brain question. Creatively speaking, has there ever been a time where the fans were going one way, but you were like, no, you're supposed to go this way, and you had to, kind of weigh what to do? Have you ever found yourself in that position?
Yeah, so that can happen to a certain degree, that where we think, okay, we think we're going to get this kind of response, and so that's where we're kind of steering things along. It's a little bit different than like WWE, where they've got so much programming. It's easy to convey storylines and stuff to
Right.
the audience, where it's not as easy for us to do that. So we have to be a little more creative in how we do it, so that they come in and feel like, oh, I know what's going on, and stuff right from one episode. They don't need a lot of backstory. They can just kind of hop right in and
Right.
join in for the ride. But there have been a few times where someone that we thought, we're going in one direction, and we're like, well then, like that was, this was an unexpected response. And well, we don't need to fight the current. Let's see how we can still tell a compelling story while now going along, but still guiding the ship in a way. But
Huh.
we don't need to fight the current on it. We can still control the boat, but we don't need to fight the current. That said, though, if anything, what's been more surprising has been how often the fans are. You would think they were sitting there listening in on our booking meetings and stuff, and where we want it to go, and because they're in there, and I'm sitting there looking at the team, and I'm like, wow, like we couldn't have scripted the fan response, to be this good. Like, do they know where we're going with this already? And they don't, but they're letting us know they want this. This is their, so it's almost like there's that anticipation. They want this, and we've been hinting at things, but to see that they're picking up on it and responding even better than we had hoped that they would at this point, we're like, okay, this is good. Like we're okay, we're definitely on the right track with this. And even the responses to certain talent, we're trying to get a certain response with the way we're presenting them. And, it's always like, will the fans turn? You kind of think of the Rocky Maivia presentation with
Right.
WWE, and it was obvious where they were hoping the fans would go. They did not go that way. They went the opposite direction, and they had to pivot. And so we're kind of in that where we know what we are hoping for. And by and large, we must be doing it just right because the fans are in it for the ride. Like, they're going. And it's kind of cool because we'll go to, we do ring rentals for other promotions too. So we go to other promotions and we'll see, some of the talent that we use. They might be on another show. And to see that, okay, they may not be getting quite that same reaction there as what they're getting when they're with us. And so we can tell when it's the way we're presenting it versus it's just the talent themselves. Now, sometimes they're just going to have a natural charisma that's going to elicit a specific response. But even in some of those cases, it's turned up a few notches for us. Like, somewhere else is like, oh, wow, good. I like to see this wrestler. And this is gonna be fun. That was a good match with that wrestler. And then with us, it's, oh my gosh, they're here, because the way we're able to present it just the right way, and which is really cool. Without bringing up anyone specific, but it's not more than just one talent in that. It's like a few of them, and we're like, wow. And we get hit up all the time now. Like, everybody wants to come and work, be on the show. And we're like, we've only got so many spots on the show, guys. And so we can't add everybody in because there's certain stories we're trying to tell. But we fit new people in when we can, if it makes sense.
Totally. What you got, Miggy?
So I get, when it comes to, and you said you only have so many spots in a show and everything like that. So, and when it comes to finding those stars, like, you guys did in the last show, did a really great job at spotlighting the stars that I see the amazing future for, not only 5-star, but Jake Redondo as well. And excited to see, I'm really excited to see what is to come with them. But when it comes to finding those stars and putting together those matches, like, what mindset do you have to be in, and what goes into putting together a phenomenal show with a phenomenal card?
Oh gosh, a lot of meetings, so a lot of time. So we're constantly doing it. So it's not like one meeting and we've got it all planned out. It's very fluid while at the same time still being planned. So we'll make changes, and move things up, move things back. And it's the reality of independent wrestling too. Like, we might ask someone to come and
card subject to change.
Right. And they're like this. So they're, for example, on August 22nd, we had Chris Nasty booked. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it. And so, okay, what can we do? How can we pivot, make that work? And then next thing you know, we have Joe Dredd in a match, and
a crazy match, to say the least. That was
it was almost like ECW when the chairs started coming in. I was like, okay, where am I ducking?
A family-friendly version of ECW.
Right. Yes. Just the chairs, nothing else.
Right. Yeah. And so, the presentation of that actually was like, okay, wow, that was really good and so well received. And we need to switch this up. Okay, how can we do this so that we're still telling a story in this? We're not just now, oh well, this person's out, so this person's in. How can we present that in a way so that fans are kind of going along for the ride? Everything that we look at is, it's 2025. Every wrestling fans, they get it. The curtain's been pulled back so much, they can see it. And we don't have to pretend that that's not the case. But when we're putting on the show, that's the time. I know for myself as a fan, I want to forget that this is scripted. Like, I want to forget it. Mm-hmm. I want to be concerned. I want to lose myself in what's happening in that ring because the story is that compelling. You know, we know Robert Downey Jr. is not really flying in the air in a suit of armor, but when we're watching the movie, we can forget that that's not real and we
Yep.
can enjoy it. You know, we know there's not a magic hammer and that this super soldier just picked it up, but in that moment, oh my gosh, like
I
you know,
popped.
right, the emotion behind it, everything, you forget that this is just a movie.
So
And you're just
TJ, these are Marvel references, just in case
Oh, I
you're
know.
wondering.
I
All right,
know. I'm a DC guy.
TJ's a DC guy. He doesn't understand and appreciate the Marvel so much, but you know.
They
right.
just they lost me after Endgame. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
No, that's
but uh but yeah, it's just about, you know, what can we do to make it so that we're not being overly obvious, but obvious enough at what we're doing so the fans can go along with us. We don't want it to feel jarring. You know, a lot of it is, hey, we could bring in this person or this person. Well, how do we fit them in a way that makes sense? And we're not just, oh, we brought someone in just to bring them in. You know,
right.
Yeah.
random wrestling match. Is there a way we can make it make sense in the larger story and what and we have ones that we're like, we just want to tell a story for this event. We have some, we're telling a story over the next 3 events, and then here's where we want to get a few payoffs. But then beyond that, there's some we're like, we have some planned out all the way through February, you know, where we know
Yep.
this is where our end goal is, and these are the steps along the way. And some of the, you know, some of the players might have to be, you know, tweaked or changed along the way based on availability or and stuff, because it's, again, it's not like WWE where everybody's under a contract and we've got them locked in.
Yeah.
You know, it's subject to their availability. There was another show they got booked on, and you know, we certainly would never encourage them to cancel another booking that they committed
Yeah.
to be on our show. So we'll find a way to work around that, and stuff. So that way we can, you know, we want to make sure we're still allowing them to pursue opportunities at the same time. So we don't want to take that away from them.
Nice.
I'm curious personally because you at the start of the show you talked about how you guys have been in business for about 2.5 years, and you just got done saying you got stories lined up, you know, all the way to February.
Yes.
How big of a difference do you personally feel where now you're like, I'm booking 6 months in advance, whereas it's the night before my first show?
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's a good question, buddy.
Right. So first show, obviously at that point, it was like we're just trying to put a show together, you know. And will this last? We hope so. You know, when we're doing that first one. Now we did put a lot of thought into that and who we were going to use, who we were booking, but by and large, I was not very in tune at the time to our local Southern California talent who's available. So you know, that's where you know, I'm having to put a lot of trust in my team on how we're, you know, who we're going to use based on the type of product I want to be presenting, which very strongly to me it has to be family friendly. I want it something where mom is not feeling like she can't believe her child just saw that, right? You know, you can't,
Right.
you know, still, you have the inherent violence of professional wrestling, of course, but that there's nothing like risque or, you know, overly violent, you know,
Well, and
bloodbaths and that sort of thing.
like half your audience, the last couple shows I've been to, it's like all kids. So
That's what we want. Yes.
yeah,
And the kids get so into it. You know, if the kids are enjoying it, the adults are going to enjoy it too. Like, and they like the excitement from the kids rubs off on the adults and get more into it too. When those kids are in the front row screaming, everybody else is going along for the ride. Everybody's enjoying it and having a good time. So we do gear it towards the kids. We want to get that fan interaction with them, because for some of these kids, especially here, we're not, you know, we're kind of in the midway point between LA and San Diego. Um, the odds of some of these kids being able to ever go to a live WWE event are so slim. You know, first off, costs so expensive.
Mhm.
This may be their first introduction. For many of them, it is their first introduction to the world of live professional wrestling, and we want to make it so positive for them. We want to create lifelong fans that they want to keep coming back. And now they're going to watch it on TV, and they're going to do and become the next generation of super fans out there. And that's what we're looking to do. And we're doing that because, well, we make it the kids are free. We want the kids to come. Like, kids are free. This is a family event. Bring the kids. And and because that's what we're doing it for, is for them. I want my kids to be there and having a good time, and just a place for people, especially for dads, to feel like they can have a place to go with their kids, and they don't have to overly explain it. We're just going to go. We're going to yell and scream and have a good time, and then we're going to talk about how cool it was on the way home. Can't wait to do it again. That type of thing.
That's awesome. And from the outside looking in too, it's cool, at least for me personally, to hear you say that, because I'm a strong believer at the end of the day, as we get older in life, as we become adults and things like that, the most important thing that we could do is do those things to inspire the next generation and to help these kids and give them not only a good show, but also maybe inspire them to say, hey, look, these guys are larger than life. One day, if it's not in wrestling, maybe I could do something that's larger than life and inspire people too. So that's very cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I want them to see themselves in that ring. Like, oh man, this is amazing. I did as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
that was it, whatever you think of them, but Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, stuff. It was like, yeah, who didn't want to, you
Right.
know, get in there and do that thing with them and stuff. I feel like we've lost a little bit of the heroes
Yeah.
wrestling, over time, as the audience has gotten a little older and stuff. Let's give them the heroes again, so the kids can get into it now too. And
That's
so
a
that's what we're trying to do.
that's a cool. So that leads me to an off-topic follow-up question that I don't even think TJ and I have talked about on the show, but I'm sure TJ and I have both been there at some point in our lives, growing up as kids,
Oh boy.
and wrestling fans. When you were obviously, you're coming into this, you're a wrestling fan, you wrestling fan as a child, imagining yourself in that ring. Did you, thinking back to you as a child, did you have a wrestling name and like a storyline that you would have loved to have been a part of
Ooh.
as a child?
Of course,
Because
we all had a wrestling name.
I was Bucket Boy. I used to put a bucket on my head, and I had two
No,
socks for gloves, and I would come out to the ring with a bucket and a cape, and was ready to take on the Undertaker because he was Kane's bad guy. So
Nice.
that's
anything that you
awesome.
say cannot be more ridiculous than that.
Mine would have been Striker. That was it.
Okay,
Stryker.
I
That
love it.
was
Nice.
that was it. That's what I saw when I'm sitting there playing WWE No Mercy, where you can get the high
There you
customization,
go.
everything, name your character. It was Striker. That was it.
That's so
And
sick.
I'm sure we all did the same thing. It was
Yep.
a version of ourselves we were creating, in there, that because we wanted to imagine that we were in the ring and stuff too. And as a kid, of course, I had all the action figures and stuff. I had a homemade little wrestling ring for my action figures.
There
Oh
you go.
wow.
Yeah, that was more accurately sized than the ones that you could get at the store. I didn't want that. That
Yeah.
was too small. You can't. How do you have a wrestling match in this?
I've
Too
complained
small.
about that on this show before, that the action figures are not
Yep.
proportional to the ring, and kids are getting they're they're getting the short end of the stick in today's action figure
What
market, whatever.
what
Yes.
is the Zoolander, right? When he's looking at the reading center, and he's like, "What is this? A reading center for ants?" That's what the rings remind me of, because they're so tiny compared to the
Yep.
action figures. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh man,
Right.
that's
Would it
funny.
have been that hard to make it proportionate? Like,
Nope.
I wouldn't think so. Like, we could have, you know, I would have found a way to get myself one if it was proportionate. Instead, I had
Right.
to make one, But Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting there with the action figures, booking shows and stuff, and I did the whole thing. Like, no, this is story and everything. Because even as a kid, I kind of got that part of it, um, which I thought was cool, and that's why I think it's okay that fans nowadays kind of see behind the curtain, like they get it. It's
Hmm.
okay. For me as a kid, once I understood, I appreciated it even more
Right.
myself.
Right.
And so, like my daughters, they know and stuff, but they still go out there and they are feeling those matches. You know, my nephew knows. In fact, my nephew is part of the kids wrestling class here and stuff. And at that
Oh,
last
that's
show,
cool.
5 Star versus Joe Dredd, he came over. He was so worried, like like near tears, but like in a good way because he's feeling it. He's like he's feeling the struggle of the match and stuff. And afterwards, he was so happy. And then he says, man, I was crying, but for him, it was a positive thing because
Right.
he could suspend, disbelief, suspend
Yep.
reality for what's being presented and just feel it and believe it. And it was awesome.
Yeah. When
And
you
it's
when you
cool.
can buy in and like have that tunnel vision, like you said a little while ago, where it's like you're not thinking about, work or the news or whatever, when you can fully check out and it's like it's like you said, with Iron Man. It's like whenever you can just like tunnel vision and the fact that, someone has to walk out that curtain and get in that ring and move their body in a way that makes you care. Like that is
Hmm.
just not only is that a talent and, just a whole other like level of performance, but as a fan too, it's like it feels good that we can buy into something that simple. And I think your shows, the last couple of shows, uh I know you like when you said you what's my train of thought here? The heroes. You said you missed the heroes. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell who's the baby face and who's the heel, and it's
Yes.
I know that's important to you, and it works.
Right. There was it's one thing I do in in our pre-show meetings, and I go over with our talents, and that is, I tell them, I say one of my pet peeves is, because I do go to other promotions and see shows
Hmm.
and stuff, and I've been doing that for a few years now. And I'll go with my daughters, and they'll be sitting there, we see okay, one entrance, next entrance, match is starting. We're about 2 minutes into the match, and then my daughter's like, who are we supposed to cheer for? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know yet. Like, I think it's this person. And then we've been wrong. We're like, oh, like, so, I always tell the talent within the first 5 seconds, our fans should know, are you the good guy or are you the bad guy? Like, we're telling
Yep.
a story here. Like, they need to know. Don't leave them guessing. Then that's when you don't get a response, you know, you, and the crowd's flat because they don't know how to react. Show them how to react. So, and they'll give you a reaction. Are they supposed to cheer for you? Are they supposed to boo you? Like, but they need to know pretty quick. So that way they can get right into it. That's what's going to get the fans into the match right away. And so, yeah, that's, for me, that's one of the things that's a kind of a pet peeve of mine. If you're not making it clear who you are when you come out, then why should the fans care about your match? You can have all the moves in the world, but if they didn't care about it, it doesn't matter.
Makes sense to me.
So let me ask you a question on that then, because you have these guys that are just that radiate positivity and like good guy nature. I think 5 Star is the most motivational person I've ever talked to in my entire life.
He's awesome.
But you have these guys who you book them on your promotion, but you have them as the good guys and then versus and the bad guys, and that's how they are in your promotion. But like you said, these guys, they also do go and wrestle for other independent wrestling companies and things like that, where it not necessarily they have that opportunity to really shine as a face or as a heel or anything like that. Does that resonate? Like, is that one of those pet peeves where you see, oh, this is one of my guys and he's not getting a chance to really express where he's going with that?
Well, not too much. I mean, if it's
Okay.
another promotion that's running like really local, like very close,
Yeah.
and they're using, one of my good guys, they're using him as a bad guy, and I
Yeah.
might be just kind of like, but by and large, a lot of our fans they're not your independent hardcore independent fans where they're hitting all of the shows. They are BWC fans. Now we do still have some that come in, and I'll see them at other shows. And
Yeah.
oddly enough, I've even at other shows I have to be like, guys, chill, because they'll start a Mr. James chant at somebody else's show. I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, no, I'm not hijacking their show. And so it's like, no, keep it on down low, because they'll know me. But I like to I think I trust the fans, as long as our star is coming out and letting them know right away, this is what I need you to, this is the reaction I'm wanting from you. The fans that are those, more hardcore indie fans that will hit all the shows, in Southern California. Like, there are 3 counties they'll travel around to hit, all these shows. And but they get it. They're like, okay, and they'll go along with it as well. And because that, we do want them to get the reaction. The hardest part actually isn't even necessarily from the regular fans. It's bigger concern is if someone is going to come and we got a talent that's going to bring a bunch of their family, for instance, and well, we're bringing them in as a heel, and then the family's out there, and the
Cheering
family's
them
just
on.
going to cheer, right? And it's like, you're not being good fans right now. It's like, come on. But to me, that's the responsibility of that star, that wrestler should be like, they should be talking to the family. Like, hey, like, the family should, like, you're not doing your family member any favors here by cheering when they're trying to get the audience to boo. Like,
that
you're hurting them. You're not helping them. And that's on the wrestler. They need, come on, give your family the expectations, what they're supposed to do.
Educate them a little bit.
Right. There are plenty of wrestlers that my daughter's behind the scenes, because they're here all the time. So
Yeah.
they help set up the ring, even, stuff.
Very cool.
Like, they
That's
get
awesome.
to know some of these guys,
Yeah.
and they love them, but they also know when this person comes out, they want to help them out. So they're like, I'm going to give them the biggest booze.
Yeah. This
Because
guy.
they know that's what they want. Right. And so they'll do that. And it's like, come on, play along.
Hey, I'm glad you're still here. Real quick, if you would like this video for me, subscribe to our channel, and before you leave a comment for Mr. James, leave a comment for me and Miggy, leave a hot take, just interact with us, and we will make sure that you, the newest friend of the podcast, will be mentioned on our next video. Thanks. So, Mr. James, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I think you deserve a friend of the podcast title. We give them out like candy over here. We're gonna have to start changing.
Well, I'll still take it. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Well, we're gonna get name tags made.
I think the only one we ever revoked was Honest John. That's pretty much it.
Ooh, you know what? If there was anyone that deserved a revoking, sometimes it would be Honest John.
He was the first wrestler that ever came on this show.
Really? Oh,
and
wow.
He might have been the first double dipper.
We've had him on twice.
It was either him or
Jake maybe
Redondo
3
has
times.
been on twice. Maybe 3
All right.
times.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Well, anyways, Mr. James, where can the people find you and VWC and all the stuff that you're doing?
Well, they can find us on our website, vwctickets.com, and of course all of our links will be there. So you can check out footage from our even our most recent show. It is the link for the broadcast is there, so you can catch that, and information for our upcoming show on September 12th. I'll come back to that in a second. But you can find us on YouTube. You can look up VWC Valley Wrestling Connection. Should be able to find us on there. Same thing with Facebook and Instagram. You find us there as well. We'll put lots of footage out and clips and reels of our shows, along with promo videos too. That interview segments with our talent, so that way you kind of get you primed and ready for when you come in here. Come and see a show. But yeah, we'd love to have you follow subscribe, keep up with us. It's growing. We're trying to do some a little bit different things and really grow our audience. We have our next show coming up on September 12th. It's a Friday night right here in Wildomar. So that's the next one. $20 for adults, and kids are absolutely free. Bring them in. And everybody, we do get the question quite often, what's the age of the kids? And we're not checking IDs. So we just we want as many kids to fill the seats. So
if they drove here, they have to pay.
Kind of. But if they're coming in with someone who's obviously an older adult, so yeah, we're just like, yeah, come on, do it. So that's what we're doing it for, is for the kids. So vwctickets.com, that'll take you there. You see and get your tickets, and follow us, keep up. We're trying to do something a little bit different, but yeah, we'd love the support.
Awesome,
man.
Thanks a bunch.
This has been a pleasure, man. We'd love to have you on again. Maybe even, we'll see how, if not closer to the next show, then the show after that for sure.
I would love to do it.
Something.
That'd be great.
If he doesn't come back on, we have to revoke his title just like we revoked John's. I think it's only fair.
Well, I don't know. He's a nicer guy.
Well,
he's not. What's it called? He's not the one pushing you out of the ring, buddy.
Right? That's true. That is true.
I'm gonna turn into a volcano if I'm not careful. It irritated me. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of How Is This Fake? Don't forget to follow us at HITFPOD on TikTok and Instagram, and we will see you later, everyone. Take it easy.